Greetings everyone and welcome. I'm your host Captain Ryan. Today's video is one that I've actually been sitting on a little bit too long, but it comes from Commander Winkpy, who's playing in the Tier 10 US Heavy Cruiser Des Moines, or Desmonis, Desmemes, and Des Moines. No matter how you say it, it's all correct in my book. The map is Two Brothers. It is Domination Match Mode, and it's obviously a Tier 10 maximum battle here. Now, well, the majority of this game is going to be focusing on Commander Winkpy here in the Des Moines. This battle is going to have a very interesting and very, very close conclusion. So stick around until the end and make sure to say your prayers to the gods of RNG.
Massive storm
Now,
moving in.
looking at the battle situation here, we can see that there is a cyclone inbound, those darn things, but the good news is Winkpy is running with the radar consumable, so that when the storm hits, using the radar consumable will extend the range out from 8 kilometers to 10, which is a good thing. The situation down there with the minimap, as we can see, the team is pretty well split equally, both going to A and D cap points here. Winkpy is going to borrow the smokescreen of a friendly destroyer, pops the smokescreen, and immediately starts farming damage on that Fletcher. Now, that Fletcher did, unfortunately, not know how to deal with a radar cruiser and tried to stay hidden in the smokescreen and back behind that island. That's absolutely not what you want to do if you find yourself in that situation. The best thing you can do is open up. Commander Winkpy secures a first blood there, taking out that Fletcher, but of course it wasn't just all our heroes who work there. Lots of friendly ships back up in here, causing some problems. And it looks like friendly team is going to secure the A cap point. Now that's going to start giving them a little bit of a points advantage. They did manage to drive the enemy out of the D cap point, but as you can see, the D cap point very, very heavily contested here. The good news is they do have a destroyer that's sitting in there, and they are currently capping it. If they could secure the D cap point as well, that would absolutely give Winkpy's team the superior advantage here. Now, Winkpy, you'll notice, is continuing to stay stationary inside this smokescreen, and you don't see a lot of cruisers that will do this, with the exception of the British ones. It's a very, very dangerous thing to do, especially now with the aiming reticule on the minimap. This battle was recorded before that implemented change, but now, even more so, because enemy battleship players can just look at where your guns are, keep a rough estimate, and drop shots onto you, especially if that was your last known position. Now, Winkpy has been effectively farming the damage here, switching fire back and forth between different battleships in a concerted effort to set fires. Now, setting one fire on a battleship, generally speaking, they're not going to put that one fire out, but if you set two on them, they are going to put it out. So what Winkpy is doing is trying to set one fire on these battleships and then switch targets, let that fire burn down for a while. Unless, of course, you know that the damage control has been used on this battleship, and then you want to continue harassing them. Just keep firing that high explosive. Set not one fire, not two fires, but set 3 or 4 fires and watch that poor battleship burn down. Right now, they have secured the D cap point, so as you can see, they're gaining points triple the rate that the enemy team is gaining them. Basically, 4 points every near second versus the enemy team's 4 points every something like 3 or 4 seconds there. At this current rate, if the enemy team doesn't push, they are going to lose this battle. They're basically going to end up having no points left at the end of the day. And that could lead to very short, very low damage, and very low XP earning games. But the enemy team is starting to regroup a little bit here. If you look at the minimap situation for where they're at there, you can see they're starting to push around the flank. And for the most part, Winkpe's team that's back over by the decap point has been pushed all the way back to and is hanging around by the border. Now Winkpe, continuing to fire the high explosive at the battleships, has a broadside Zao, so switches over to the armor piercing there, but the Zao starts turning. Now the armor piercing against the broadside of the Zao from these kinds of ranges is actually pretty good. Could cause some serious problems for that Zao, but again, as we can see, that Zao maneuvering hard, and again, gives broadside. So, switching back over to the armor piercing, with any luck that Zao will stay broadside because they think they're safe behind that island. The Des Moines has the advantage of being able to lob those shells high over islands. Not quite as good as the booster, but still pretty damn good at lobbing shots over here. Smokescreen is dissipating. That means if Winkpe continue to fire here, they would definitely be exposed out in the open, and giving broadside even to a German battleship, not the best thing in the world. Trying to back up to avoid those torpedoes. Good news is the torpedoes ran out of steam well before they reached Winkpe. And Winkpe still has pretty much all of the health on this ship, plus the heals. That means better position to go up and start being a little bit more aggressive. The enemy team has managed to secure their first kill in the form of a friendly destroyer. Another friendly destroyer back down here, the Shimakaze, not got a lot of health left. If that guy gets spotted, it could be the end. Now, there is a Russian destroyer back over here as well, and that guy could cause some significant problems. But friendly Fletcher up there in conjunction with Winkpe and the Desmonas there with that high rate of fire, if that guy can go spot that Russian DD, they can cause some serious problems. Enemy Hindenburg switching over here to show broadside as he tries to get off the wall there, and that is going to result in Winkpe switching back over to the armor piercing, but as we can see, the guy continues to turn. Now, he did get a fire or two set on him there and put it out. Now, it is a cruiser, so obviously reasons for being put out there, but did get a Citadel on, which was nice as he turned away. At this point, though, Winkpe is going to switch back over to the high explosive and try and set another fire. We know that fire will burn this time for at least 30 seconds because that cruiser used his damage control. Friendly Fletcher has spotted the Udaloy. Unfortunately, the Fletcher is not playing particularly smart here. He's opened fire on the Udaloy with those two cruisers in the back, the Zao and that Hindenburg. So both of those cruisers shooting at the Fletcher. The Fletcher needs to get out of line of sight. He needs to drop back into this smokescreen and just disappear. But, of course, if he does that, the Udaloy is going to disappear because there's nobody else spawning. Cyclone is now fully in effect, and we can see here the visibility dropping down there. Winkpe's going to fire off a few more shots there. Not sure if that Fletcher is going to burn down or not. It kind of looks like he might actually end up burning down. Winkpe briefly switches to the armor piercing, tries to get a broadside shot on that Hindenburg, but the Hindenburg reversing bow tanks, well, stern tanks there, so most of those don't go. Pops the radar, and there's what I was telling you about the radar. Gives you that 10-kilometer range if you have it active. None of these other ships can see Winkpe at this point because they don't have radar and they're outside of that 8-kilometer range. Winkpe again switching over to the armor piercing, trying to get Citadels onto this Zao, but the Zao is playing smart. They're angling, so back over to the high explosive. The nice thing about this cruiser is that you can very quickly and very rapidly switch between the two. It's only a 6-second reload. So if you're in a cruiser with a big flat broadside, if you're in a battleship with a big broadside, for the love of God, do not try and give broadside to a Des Moines. It isn't going to go well for you. Radar wears off, so Zao drops off his tech ability, but hey, guess what? The Udaloy is well within that 8-kilometer range, so shots coming in there. Udaloy is dead. Zao took shots there, and you can see how close he got. He actually did connect with just a few. Now, in the patch update, what that has done now is it's made it even easier for you to kind of plan and shoot blindly as long as somebody is detecting that ship and you can see them on the minimap. Now, this Hindenburg firing the armor piercing, Winkpe gives broadside here. That's not the best option there. The Hindenburg, very good armor. There's a reason they call this ship Battleship Hindenburg. Additionally, remember, Hindenburg has torpedoes, 2 sets on each side for a total of 8, and they do a lot of damage. So the way he was coming up there, obviously there's the torpedoes coming from that side. Now he's trying to turn the other way. You know he's going to get more torpedoes out here. This is a serious concern. There's the broadside. You know what's coming. More torpedoes going to be in the water. Gets taken out by the Zao there. Tried to push in there. Not the best maneuver. Realistically, if you find yourself in that situation, you're better off exposing your broadside, eating a Citadel from the Hindenburg, because he's got a 10-second reload. You might be able to get away with it, and running away. Don't close the range. Don't let that Hindenburg close the range and let him torp you. Which, if it wasn't for the Zao, it wasn't for the fact that he was giving broadside to the Zao, the torpedoes would have killed our hero. Now, our hero is dead. The enemy team has actually managed to rally back just a little bit here. Look how low health some of these ship here. Other friendly Des Moines, very low health. Montana, very low health. Both of those basically 10% or less of their health here. That's a problem. But because they held so many of the caps for so long, they have a massive points advantage. Shimakaze, who's got full health on the enemy team, he's using his guns. You never see Japanese destroyers do this, but he played it smart. He takes out the Des Moines there. That's going to save him some problems because that means no more radar to deal with there. Additionally, if he turns and uses his guns and sets that Montana on fire, that Montana could go as well. And look at this. I mean, the enemy has managed to rally, and it's really, really disappointing here that they've managed to do this because Winkpe's team, they were so close to winning. They're still very close to winning. They're at the 880 point range, and so long as their ships survive and stay alive, they will secure victory. All they have to do is not die. And unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen here because we can still see the Montana and the Republic are both trying to chase that Shimakaze down. That Shimakaze's got all of his health left, and while the Montana can basically one-shot that destroyer with a full broadside of armor piercing, it does you no good if you can't see him, and you're in a cyclone with an 8-kilometer detection range facing against a destroyer that now has a 5.4-kilometer detection range. And of course that destroyer has popped a smokescreen, so that's going to be even more of a problem. Conqueror, who's been sitting in the back most of this time, big surprise there, firing high explosive into that Kurfürst. Now, the friendly Fletcher there tried to get torpedoes on that Kurfürst. Unfortunately, he missed. It was basically a blind shot up through that channel. A good guesstimate, though. He only missed him by, I think, a boat length there. Kurfürst is pushing into the sea cap point and is now going to prevent the friendly team here from gaining those points. And they really do need those points. Look how close to victory they are. They are incredibly close to victory. Conqueror switches over to armor piercing as he passes the broadside of this Kurfürst. But look, that Kurfürst just unloads into him. That Conqueror, not the smartest in the world, giving broadside to the Kurfürst. And now, he's not even going to try and finish that guy off. Instead, he's going to fire armor piercing into the Hindenburg. And unfortunately, that first shot donks right into the water and misses. Again, remember what I said? Hindenburg has torpedoes, and at this kind of range, you know what he's doing. You know he's got torpedoes out and about. So there's the first set of torpedoes. We know he's got a second set of torpedoes here on this side. More shots dumped in there. Torps coming out. There are the torpedoes from that Hindenburg. There's the second torpedo victim. Well, technically the first torpedo victim of that Hindenburg. But again, that goes into the thing. You got to remember, Hindenburg has torpedoes, and they're actually not short-range torpedoes. They're pretty good. Fletcher manages to connect 2 torpedoes on that Kurfürst. There's a third torpedo. That's going to finish him off, but of course, the Hindenburg is in the sea cap point, so he is capping here, which is unfortunate. The good news is the friendly Republic here is managing to wail on the Zao, and if the Montana can get shots off here, or that Republic can get his secondaries to set this Zao on fire, somebody do something for the love of God, Montana. Kill the Zao. Okay, the Zao can clearly see the Montana. The Montana clearly sees the Zao. The Republic burns down. There's the Shimakaze, there are the Shima's torps, and the Montana is turning broadside into them. If, however, the Montana secondaries can land a lucky hit, maybe they might survive. It's not going to happen. He did, at the very least, take out the Zhao. Now, things are in dire straits. There are 2 enemy ships left, including a Hindenburg. And the Shimakaze. That Shimakaze still has a lot of his health left. The Hindenburg has definitively more health than the Fletcher here. And more importantly, he has hydroacoustic. Trying to torpedo a Hindenburg is near impossible. And it's not like our hero here, well, it's not like the hero left in the game here, in the Fletcher, can open fire on this guy, because he doesn't have the health to engage, and he got a little too close to the Hindenburg, and the Hindenburg saw him, opened up on him. That's really, really lucky he didn't die there. Now, the Shimakaze, depending on how far away he is from the cap, could be a serious point here, because if he can get into the decap point, he can prevent the team from gaining more points. And at this point, with just under 3 minutes left, the enemy team 3 caps, they could very well catch Winkpe's team, especially if they get into the decap point and prevent them from gaining those points. Now, this Fletcher knows this, so he's going to run to the C cap point and step on that cap point, at the very least to try and get those points from that cap, or at the very least to stop the enemy team from gaining points from that cap so that they can maintain that lead. They don't have a lot of time left. There's not a lot of points left, just 22 points left to earn for that 1,000. And unfortunately, there's the Shimakaze, steps onto the D cap. And again, remember, the Shimakaze still has a lot of his health left. So the enemy team now has 3 caps. They're gaining points. There's 2 minutes left. They could very easily reach this. This is a serious, serious situation to be in. And not one that I would want to be in a Fletcher with this month health. Now, notice though that this Fletcher only has 13,900 points. That means it's a stock haul. For the love of God, the very first thing you should do in the Fletcher is use your free XP and get that haul upgrade. You need the extra points, and better yet, get the survivability expert if you're playing these destroyers. Get that 20,000 health. It comes in handy. It'll save you a lot of problems. If he had that, he'd have a lot more health. He could actually engage, possibly go hunt down, or survive an engagement with that Shimakaze, if that Shimakaze comes rushing up this way. And since we know he was in the decap point, and now we know he sees this Fletcher here in the C cap point, and we know he's not afraid to use his guns, he is probably going to be coming around that corner at any moment. And there's not a lot of time left. Less than 50 seconds remaining. I'm not sure how this battle could get any closer at this point. The enemy team pretty much needs to kill this Fletcher if they want to secure a victory at this point, given how much time is left on the clock, how many points. But look at this, the Fletcher's slowing down. He's trying to stay in that cap point. He launched torpedoes off, obviously, around that island there, hoping he can get lucky and catch this guy. 20 seconds left on the clock. The enemy team very close. Oh my god, there's the Shimakaze has opened up here. Obviously, this Fletcher player is also not running with the concealment expert and module because he's spotted there. Pops a smoke screen to drop off detectability. Did you make your prayers to RNGesus? I hope you did, because look at that. 8 hit points left, drops off detectability, and wins it for the team. Commander Winkpe did pretty good there, 156,000 damage done, 1 Citadel, 2 kills, got a Confederate and a First Blood out of it. Very, very well done on their part. A good chunk of XP as well, probably first victory of the day. Surprisingly enough though, that Fletcher player did not end up at top of the team. He actually ended up down 4th on the team. Commander Winkpe ended up at top of the team with 2,600 base XP. I do feel bad, though, for the Zhao. on the enemy team because the Zhao on the enemy team actually earned quite a lot of XP on a loss. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, follow button, and leave a comment in the chat or down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.